We are live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Crick Addicts. This is a test match special. Actually, test match special is actually a BBC show, so we might get some copyright for that. But this is Cricket Adda presents test match special. Yeah, that I think we're good now. And I have with me today Shubham, as always. Hi, Shubham. How are you?
I'm good. What about you? I mean, to tell everybody I'm good, but unfortunately it hurts. As you
Hmm.
might have seen my reel, it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. It's a sad day. Sad day. First day in 12 years for Indian cricket fans. We've also got Kevin with us, who's on mute right now, so we're not going to ask him how he is, but I'm sure he's good. Oh, okay, he's unmuted.
Yeah, hi Nikhil. Sorry, can't turn on my camera because I'll be accused of being partying and celebrating with this New Zealand win, which we'll dig deep into.
Right.
I wish you could see my blue
Yeah.
jersey on, but I think we'll have to make do with the black background.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a little bit part of you that was happy for New Zealand, but it's okay. We don't need to get into that. We know you're a closeted New Zealand fan, so it's fine. We'll give you that leeway today. But today we're here for a diagnosis episode of this of the Test match series that has happened so far. India are 2-0 down to New Zealand at home with one test to go. Pretty shambolic display so far, Shubham. In both the test matches, I have to say. It's been the batting that's been poor, but I think it's also been some of our more established spinners who've also been poor, I think. Ashwin and Jadeja. I don't think many people have talked about it, but I think they've been a little under par, and I guess you can give them that leeway, because they're always so good, but they've actually been a little under par, and because of that, India find themselves losing a test series for the first time in 12 years. And it's a big moment because that also has implications on the World Test Championship. That probably means now, actually, we'll just go right into it, Shubham. What does that mean for our chances in the World Test Championship? Does that mean we have to win in Australia? How many test
Exactly,
matches we have to win?
exactly as you said. So five teams are currently competing for the World Test Championship final. We obviously have India, Australia, New Zealand stands a chance after winning 2-0.
Yeah.
If they win the last test in Wankhede and manage to clean sweep England in New Zealand, then they have a chance as well. South Africa are now firm favorites after what has happened to India, and Sri Lanka have an outside chance as well. So five teams are competing for the WTC final spots. And as you said, what India needs to do now, without depending on other results, is first of all win the last test in Wankhede. No doubts on that. They have to win that, make this series 2-1, and then go in Australia. Go in Australia. India won in Australia previously 2-1, 2-1. This time they have to win three tests if they want
Hmm.
to make it to the WTC final without depending on any other result. So, as you said, big implications, tough times for the Indian test team.
Yeah, we'll go into the squad that's been announced as well a little bit after. But first, we'll talk about the two test matches. You did your reel, Shubham, on both the test matches. We'll go to the first one really quickly because we don't want to remember that test match too much. Obviously, 46 all out. But in the second innings, there was some good batting. Sarfaraz Khan showed up. He scored 150. Rishabh Pant again got out in the 90s, but we still lost. Rachin Ravindra was very good. Um, yeah, what were your takeaways from that test match? I mean, this always happens. India always lose the first test match, and I thought, okay, we lost the first test match. That happens, and we'll probably still win the series. But yeah, I mean, we'll not go too much into it. But what do you think about the first test match? What went wrong over there?
Yeah, as you said, India do tend to lose the first test match that happened against England in as well earlier this year, and then against England in 2021 as well, and back in 2017, the famous Pune test, India lost, but then won the series
Yeah.
2-1. But yeah, talking about this first test against New Zealand, I think Rohit Sharma himself admitted in the press conference that they made a wrong decision at the toss, bowling first, batting first on that kind of a wicket. Having said that, it was definitely not a 46 all out wicket. India could have showed some application, got to say 130, 140, if not 180. And then probably there could have been a game after that. Again, in my reel as well, I talked about, yes, 46 all out is a big reason, but they had New Zealand 233 for 7, if I'm not wrong, and Saudi joined Rachin Ravindra, and they scored like they got a 137 run partnership, if I'm not wrong, and that took the score from 233 to 402. So that 170 extra runs, India could have easily bowled them out for 280, if not 300, and those extra 100 runs meant that despite scoring 462 in the third innings, India couldn't put up a formidable total in the fourth innings for New Zealand to chase down. Kevin, what do you think about this? The first test, the 46 all out is the only reason, or do you see anything else as well?
I think it like my opinion was that the good thing was that India won the toss, and the decision to bat first, I don't think was a bad decision. They knew the conditions were tough. It was going to seem around a bit initially, and the plan in place was let's bat out 2 hours in the session, or maybe play out the entire session, and after that the conditions will be favorable for batting, which is exactly what New Zealand did. And I think the decision was good, the execution was bad. And I think if anybody wants to criticize, you have to criticize the execution, because I there was, I think, 9 overs of good bowling from New Zealand, which during which they didn't give anything to the Indian batsmen, and it was just like a chess game. You want to see who was going to break first, and the Rohit Sharma broke first. With I felt that it was one of those Saudi specials with the three-quarter seam ball, which sometimes you don't know whether it's going to swing in or swing out. I don't think even Saudi knew what was going to happen with that ball. So it was unlucky, but it was pure theater for the viewers to see Rohit Sharma step out, try to get out of jail, and that was the ball that just swung in and took at the top of middle stump. So, and once that happened, we were all excited to see who's going to come at number three, because there's all the speculation: do we see KL Rahul getting pushed? And I feel, in my opinion, KL Rahul would have been the ideal player to come in there, because he has batted at the top of the order. Um, I don't think he's affected by changes in his batting position, because his batting style remains the same. That's my opinion.
Mm.
I felt it would have been a braver decision to send him ahead, but they send Virat Kohli ahead, and he was unlucky to get a really good ball in the first over of Will O'Rourke, and excellent catch from Glenn Phillips. So that didn't go in their favor. Then they came out. I think it was who came back then. I think it was Sarfraz Khan
Sarfraz
who
came
came in
in.
at number four, and
Yeah.
good bowling, good bowling. I think he tried to get out of jail over there. It was a good planning, because they kept the mid off open, and they invited him, come on, drive on the up, and he fell for the bait. And I think after that it was just maybe if even after the 3 wickets, if the Indian batsman tried to hang in there a little bit, but because to help New Zealand, what happened is the rain breaks ensure that their fast bowlers got longer spells. If India could just tire them out, maybe force Tom Latham to bring in the spinners, we wouldn't have seen a 46 all out kind of like a situation. And even after being 46, I think the way the Indian bowlers bowled, it wasn't that bad. You could see that they were under pressure. They were trying to go for wickets rather than stop the run flow, and that's where they conceded a lot of runs. And that partnership, exactly, I think that partnership was, I think, where a lot of critics and fans were criticizing or pointing fingers at Rohit Sharma. I think he went defensive and tried to wait for the second new ball, hoping that once the second new ball comes, they would bundle out the tail. And kudos to Rachin Ravindra and Tim Saudi. They just grabbed on the opportunity, because when Saudi came, I think Rachin Ravindra was around 30s. It was in his 30s or 42, I'm not sure, but he had not got much of the strike. And once Saudi came in and he saw Saudi defend well, he just took on the bowlers. And I didn't understand why Rohit kept going ahead with, even though Ashwin and Kuldeep were were being negated, I still didn't understand why he kept persisting with them. He could have just brought in Siraj, maybe Bumrah, and tried to see if if he could just bowl in some few quiet overs. But I think that partnership just went out of hand. And once when New Zealand got that 300, I think it was a 300 plus lead. Once they got that, I think India just I think got demoralized, and I felt bad that maybe had he taken a decision more instinctive, maybe we could have seen some changes. But once that test was lost, I think everything else you know what to expect if they lost the toss on the second day.
Just quickly before Nikhil, you take over again. Four people are watching us, so if anybody has any questions, you can definitely put it in the comment section. We have got some LinkedIn comments here commenting for better reach, which is good that we can get some reach if this comment reaches a couple of people. Yeah, Nikhil, go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll just discuss what is it about India's batting that this seems to happen, this collapse seems to happen. I mean, it happened in the second innings as well. The Sarfraz and Rishabh there's a good partnership going on, and what are the numbers? What 60 for 7 wickets, something like that,
62 for
63,
7, yeah,
64.
62 for 7, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just keeps happening. I mean, we'll talk a little macro at this point, more strategy. Is it the aggressive nature in which all the Indian batters seem to play nowadays? I used to think that Jadeja and Ashwin, at least they'll play a little sensibly and they won't go too aggressive. But if you look at the rest of the top five, I mean, Jaiswal, we don't need to say anything. We saw the second test match and that second innings, and that was just like the first few overs was incredible. Rohit Sharma, Kohli, Sarfaraz, Pant, all of these guys are basically dashers, right? They're just going to throw their hands around and they're going to score runs. And do we need Pujara and Rahane back? Like, is that a legit question? Do we need to find someone in that mold, Kevin? What do you think? Do we need to find like these? Do you think KL Rahul is like someone like that? Do we need to find these kind of guys, at least one or two guys, at least to be more sensible, play, go with a defense first approach rather than an attack first approach?
I think it's a tricky question because a lot of fans are
Yeah,
saying we want Pujara back, but I think one of the Shubham knows the game in and out, and we both coordinated and we spoke about it, and we said that we don't need Pujara back because the reason Pujara was dropping, he was unable to get runs. The issue that was happening with Pujara is that he was wearing out the bowlers, but when the opportunity was coming to score, he had bogged himself down. So he had gone into such a shell that he was not able to even rotate the strike, and the run making was getting choked. So I think the an encouraging sign would be to encourage these current players if they could trust their defense, work on their defense, because
yeah,
if you see the way like coming back to the second innings of the first test match, if you see the way Sarfaraz and Pant were batting, I think I was watching the game and you could see Tom Latham was sweating. He didn't know what to do. He just all their plans. Sarfaraz in the V behind. You can say from third man to final, like he had completely dominated that area, and they for some reason they were unable to bowl him on the stumps and encourage him to play the drive. And the only time they encouraged him was when he was in his 90s and he got that cover drive to get his 100. So uh, the current mindset of the Indian batsman is attack is the best form of defense. But when you're playing on such pitches where one good ball can get you out, I think it doesn't help you. And uh, coming back to the question that you asked me, I feel if they could encourage these players, the ones who are not in contention, to go back to play domestic, get your confidence, play the domestic fast bowlers, get into that mojo of scoring, of hanging in there, playing 4 sessions, batting for 4 sessions or 2 sessions for that matter in a proper game. I think that's going to help them rather than look out for a player who can like Pujar, who can have a solid defense. Because I don't think we're going to see with this modern day form of cricket. I don't think we're going to see players of the kind of Rahul Dravid for that matter, Kane Williamson, Cheteshwar Pujara. I think that's gone. Like with Basball coming, and you can see the way the players want to play the game, and there's nothing wrong in that. But maybe when the conditions are tough, and to like I said, though, if there was one team that could have beaten India in this during this situation, I think it would have been New Zealand only. It helped them that in the first Test match you had rain, and the second Test match it helped them that because it was a three-match series. New Zealand is the only team that plays three-match series, so there was no way that India could expect take it four Test match series. There's enough time to come back. No, they had to win the second, and in their desperation, I
Yeah,
think they just missed a trick. And the New Zealand players, the way they play in New Zealand with the ball swinging, they're used to these periods in the game, 10, 20 overs of, just hanging in there and building on the pressure. And
yeah,
because our bowlers are used to immediate success, we play on these pitches where uh, we're so good. We have been so good over the last few years that very rarely you'll see 5 overs of, good bowling and not getting a wicket, because the opposition that which we plays, the mindset is, uh, you know, it's okay even if we get out. When we go back to England or Australia, we'll have them on the mat. So
yeah,
that approach was is a very different approach, because of which sometimes you would see a big great innings, maybe like that Ollie Pope 196, but beside that, it's just a drastic drop down. And with New Zealand, it's the other way around. This is the only way that they'll get, they didn't come into the series thinking they could win it. It was just about, let's make a mark, let's see what can happen, and things happened, and they believed and they got it done. So I don't think this team is that bad. I don't think you need to overhaul it, but I think you'll have to encourage the players to go back and prepare well. Coming into a big series, you would want them to, if they're available, play domestic games, or get into that rhythm, because the conditions vary, and you're not getting younger. So long your talent has helped you, but I think the attitude, your preparation, like we go back in the day when Sachin was not getting runs. I think he played an Irani Cup in 2013. There's that famous video of him, getting hit by the bouncer and then cover driving Srisant and going to 99. So I think when the players are, the players themselves have to take that call. When you are struggling, let us go back to play domestic, because there's so much of data analysis that happens, video footage. I was watching Akash Chopra, and I was surprised that he had the footage of showing how Rohit Sharma has gone, has been dismissed by swing. I think all five dismissals were bowled. I'm not sure, or LBW. I'm not sure exactly, but he showed that thing, and I think it's if Akash Chopra has brought it out, I think it's well known that he struggles initially, and the only reason I felt,
yeah,
which everyone believed, Tim Southee was not going to play the Test match, because that's the reason he quit his captaincy. But I think they kept him in there for the first Test match because it was swinging. Second, I think they saw an opportunity with Matt Henry, injured, and both times he just did one thing. He just got one wicket, and it was the big fish. Had Rohit Sharma stayed in, I don't think it would have been you can say that so one-sided, because he's India's best player to spin, and he's dominated on these pitches. So yes,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think baseball has also had something to do with it a little bit. I think in that series against England, you saw India's approach maybe change a little bit, where they started to be more aggressive. And I do agree. Like if you look at Pujara, he plays 50 balls, scores 10 runs, gets out. Like, what's the point of that, right? If you play 50 balls, you might as well score 40 runs or 50 runs, 60 runs. So I do agree with that mindset. I do think there should be a few players who stick to their
yeah,
defense. We play the situation, right? I think that's what we're all asking our batters. We'll stick with the batting point because I think that's kind of like the whole theme of this test match series so far. Shubham, I mean, the batting has been poor, and it's been we've won series in the past, and maybe some of the cracks were papered over, but now it's there for everyone to see that India's batting has been struggling for a few years, and we've tried different guys. Sarfraz has come in, Jaiswal has come in, and they've both looked good. But our batting, time and time again, we have collapses. Guys don't score big runs. Our big guys don't score enough runs. I think Rohit Sharma, Kohli, both of them, they don't score enough runs in test matches at home. So, I mean, we'll just talk about it. I mean, what do you think is the problem there? Do we change our approach in batting? Do we get new guys? I don't think we need new guys, by the way. I think these 5, 6 batters are probably our best test batters right now.
Yeah, I agree with your second point. The top 6, top 7 which is playing right now is what India has, and it is the best possible batting lineup which India can put out there. As you said, Jaiswal has been absolutely magnificent so far. He's got a 15 almost every home test India has played, apart from one, which was the first test in this series. Sarfaraz Khan has looked good. He scored 350s against England, got a 150 in this series as well. But yeah, the big question which you ask is collapses, and it is quite evident. Rohit Sharma in the press conference said that over 12 years we haven't had many collapses. That's why we won. But that's factually incorrect, because if you see over the last 4 years, it's just the lower order which has been saving India on a number of occasions. It is either Jadeja and Ashwin, as we saw in the first Bangladesh Test match, and the most famous Akshar Patel, who scored 350s on three turning tracks against Australia in the Border Gavaskar Trophy in 2023. India definitely
Yeah.
missed him with the bat, if not with the ball, because he was India's best player of spin in that series, Kevin. If you remember, we used to talk about India are 144 for 6 again, 111 for 7 again. If you remember against England as well in Ranchi, it was Dhruv Jurel and Kuldeep Yadav who got them out of trouble, because England could have got a 70-80 run lead in that game that came down to 49 or 39 because of Jurel and Kuldeep Yadav. So definitely there have been collapses. The big question is Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, just 150 each in 8 innings this home test season. That was in the last test match, the second innings, where India scored 462. I want to ask a broader question here. How do India approach these two big players now? Because as Kevin mentioned, everybody knows, I think it's public knowledge, Gautam Gambhir openly asked these two players to go and play the Duleep Trophy. They didn't go and play the Duleep Trophy. Is that an issue? Do they need to play more domestic cricket, because they have left T20 internationals now, so they have a lot of time on hand as well, because that's the most of the calendar, right? T20 international. So if you're not playing that, you have a lot of time on your hand. Do these guys need to go and play that? Are they just out of form and you're hoping that they will get back in form in a couple of test matches? Because at that age which they are, each failure will be highlighted and questions will be asked, isn't it?
I mean, Kevin, I'll go to you as well. I mean, they need to get better. Like that's obviously a fair point. I mean, they're not getting dropped. Like obviously that's not going to happen. They're going to keep playing every test match that they're available. They're going to keep playing, and there's nothing in the management's hands that they can do. Really, it's up to these two guys to get better. Virat Kohli against spin, his record is poor. That's just a matter of fact. Against left arm spin, I have to say, it's just poor, and yeah, he has to work on it. I mean, if you're playing in India and if things get tricky, I think against teams like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, whose spin attack is good, we try to give them good pitches and good seaming pitches sometimes as well. But against basically the Sena countries, the pitches are going to spin, so you have to get better at playing spin. Like that's just like an easy thing to work on, I think. Um, your point is right, Shubham. T20 international cricket is now out of their calendar, and they'll have a lot of time to work on this. Um, Obviously, they're probably not looking at it right now because they're looking probably at the Australia series and what needs to be done over there. But I mean, there's another point, Kevin, that like maybe it's too out there kind of. But I saw this on Twitter. A few people were saying that, how about we just pick the guys who are basically horses for courses, right? How we do with the bowlers. Why don't we get the batters who are good in these conditions and who've proven that they're good against spin? I think I saw Baba Inderjeet has like 60 plus average in Indian conditions in Ranji Trophy against spin. So why do you think? I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. Do you think we should think like that? That we're playing in spinning conditions. Let's get a specialist. Maybe instead of KL Rahul, someone like that, or Sarfraz Khan. I know Sarfraz Khan has done well, but maybe instead of KL Rahul, let's get in like someone who's a specialist in these conditions. What do you think about that point?
I think the entire structure has to change, and I think with Gautam Gambhir coming in, I think that structure is going to change. We've seen positives. The initiative of having this Dulip Trophy, where you had some of the best red ball players in India, and almost all of our India players, except I think the four big giants. I think Ashwin, Rohit, uh, Ashwin, Rohit, Jadeja, and Kohli. I think except them, all of the Indian players played the Duleep Trophy. So I think the
Bumrah
initiative
as
is
well. I think
good.
he didn't play either.
Who?
Who?
Bumrah.
Ah,
Yeah,
and Bumrah. Yeah,
Bumrah, obviously. Yeah.
these five these five senior guys, I think they didn't play. But besides that, you've seen this very good initiative where you had these the first choice players playing the Lip Trophy. The problem with the selection that happens is it's this is something that I'm noticing and drawing parallels from. I think you need to make an impression in the IPL to have to be in contention in uh, in Test cricket, and
That's
we saw it.
actually another, just sorry to cut you off. That's another point actually I wanted to make. Like we've been doing these kind of IPL based selections in test matches as well. What do you think about that? Like, Shreyas Iyer was, I mean, he had a good record in Ranji Trophy cricket, but basically because of his white ball success, he was picked in red ball. I think Siraj as well. He was doing good in white ball cricket, and I feel like they look at players who are doing well in white ball cricket. Basically, that this is now our best player, and now we'll just get him in red ball cricket. Let's take a look at his record in red ball cricket, make sure he's doing okay so people don't get too angry on us, and let's just pick him. What do you
Yeah,
think about those kind of selections?
yeah, so I'll start off with this topic. It's a very tricky topic because, like the way I was following cricket, I remember there was this uh, when Virat Kohli took in, and there was a lot of talk about him making a change every single Test match. I think he went 37 or 38
Yeah,
consecutive Test
I remember
matches where he
that.
kept switching. And I was
Yeah.
of the opinion that Virat Kohli has the opportunity to help and lead India into the transition phase because most of the players that he was fielding were all ones who came through under Dhoni's tenure. You see all the good players, and the initial first roadblock that he faced was finding a suitable replacement to Shikhar and Vijay because that was one very good successful partnership that we started off. And there was Mayank Agarwal, I think 2017-2018 season, where he completely broke down the selectors' doors. But the problem was that he had such poor IPL season in 2018, where he didn't he was nowhere near even the reserve players for in the squads of 18 that we were 17 that we were taking around that time. He didn't make it to that side as well. So, and the only time and the only reason he debuted was because KL Rahul had a terrible 2018 season. You had Prithvi Shaw, who I think stumbled on a ball and I think got injured, and Vijay was in really bad form. So you had him with the series at 1-1. You flew him all the way from India to MCG, and you had him debut within 2 to 3 days, and he performed really well. So we've seen that in the past that we're not able to reward domestic performances. We saw Gaikwad, I think last year, make it to the West Indies squad, and everyone was, raising eyebrows as to how he got over Abhimanyu Iswaran. And because Abhimanyu had been, doing really well. There was talks back in the day of Priyank Panchal, who was around 30 at that time. He was doing really good. And where I felt we made a mistake was having Rohit Sharma open. You have a player, terrific player in white ball cricket. Unfortunately, was not able to bag that number six test slot. And after we lost all our openers, we said, okay, we've tried everything. Let us make him an opener, and he got success there, and we persisted with that. But people forget that the last time Rohit Sharma played domestic cricket was around 2016. So from 2013 onwards, we've been trying to prolong, give him a chance at Test cricket. He's not been able to convert that into success. But we never had the courage to ask him, can you go back to play domestic? Can you perform in a few Test matches as an opener? And then we picked you up. No, we picked him directly for South Africa, whom I felt would not have been able to challenge us. So it's a like the problem is in the planning that we're doing. We're not giving a good opener, the one who's doing well in domestic cricket, to come and perform. And I was talking to Shubham regarding one selection with Shubman Gill. Did really well, was in the wings. And you had Prithvi Shaw. You dropped Prithvi Shaw from the Test team 2021, or I think it was 2018-19. I'm not sure. And he went played the India games in New Zealand, did really well. When an opportunity came for the opener slot, You had Shubman Gill in the reserve. You could have played him, but instead, because you had Prithvi Shaw, who's did well, and in the India games, you brought him back in, and Shubman Gill again didn't debut. And he only debuted because you had the same situation in 2018, where Mayank and Shaw was struggling, just like Vijay and KL was struggling, and you had Gill open, and in his debut series, he gave you a 50. I think in the second test was it, and he got a 91 on the it's one of the most underrated knocks for the Gaba victory. So I think we have
Yep.
to kind of like this is the first time I believe that we'll give Abhimanyu Iswaran reward his domestic record and give him an
Yeah.
opportunity to open in Australia. It's unfortunate it's coming again because the senior player is missing, but I think we have to kind of like now uh, prioritize domestic cricket because I understand international cricket and domestic cricket is different, but now we're reaching a stage where I think we're the best. We have the best talent all across the globe, and we have to when a player is not doing well, you'd rather want him to be benched or go back to domestic, do well, get confidence. I don't agree with the concept of the best way to get experience is while on the job. I don't want KL Rahul to score runs on these pitches, and we take him to Australia and say he's confident now, because the conditions are different. So if you have, I would prefer like players those are struggling, send them for India A tour games, make them use that India A tour, kind of like games to build up your confidence, or domestic cricket to build confidence rather than learning on the job. And because this is something that we have been doing, and that is the reason I feel that in this series I think our technique and our ability to play the right word would be temperament got tested, and I think we failed. So maybe if I'm building, I think that would help, because just like the 2012 2013 season brought about a transition in Indian cricket, I feel this season will bring about a transition in Indian cricket again. It's unfortunate we had to wait for a series loss to take that call, but I think the cracks are
Mm.
already shown up. And I was surprised that Patel didn't even, he didn't make the squad for Australia. So I don't know what happened there, because in the BGT he really helped India. When we were under this, and we were speculating after the T20 World Cup that whether Akshar would, replace Jadeja in this home season, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. So yeah, these are my views on that. Let's see.
I would like to jump in here. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that players have been selected based on white ball form, because the players have been selected here. Shubman Gill averaged above 60 in first class cricket. Sarfaraz Khan, as we all know, averages 68 in first class cricket. KL Rahul is the only problem here, which you can see and say that he hasn't averaged well in India. But apart from that, Devdutt Padikkal, who played a test match against England, averages well above 50. Same case with Rajat Patidar. So all these guys have done well in domestic cricket, and that's why they have earned a place. And now Kevin, as Kevin mentioned, Abhimanyu Ishwaran has been picked in the squad for the Border Gavaskar Trophy as the backup opener, who averages 49, which is not right up there, but it's the best available opener we have after Jaiswal.
No, so
Yeah. The
I agree with your
Sarfaraz Khan
point.
pick, I agree
Yeah.
with. Sorry, Ken.
Yeah,
Sarfaraz Khan pick, I agree with. He was picked on red ball cricket because he was just like he was the best in like
yeah.
in
Yeah.
that 2, 3, 4 years period. He was the best. He had to be picked.
No,
Shreyas
no.
Iyer, I think
Yeah.
is
I'll just like
yeah.
to
Go
interrupt.
ahead.
I think the point
Hmm.
I was trying to make is that in first class, I think a lot of players have good stats, and
Correct.
all these players, Shubman, Sarfaraz, even Shreyas Iyer for that matter, they had really good numbers, and they were ready to play. But unfortunately, they only got the opportunity until they had that. They did well in IPL. That is the point. I'm saying. Sometimes even I think who was it? I think when Jaiswal also was picked. You picked. He had really good numbers. He was doing well. He had that good IPL season. That is when immediately we said, okay, let's pick him as the number three. So the point
Yeah.
that I'm making is we have to take a call. Okay, this is a player in form. Even Siraj for that matter, 2017, 2018, I think he should have been picked. He didn't pick it. He wasn't picked. 2020, he'd had a great this IPL season, and that's when we said okay. So, and I don't like this narrative where you're using the IPL performances to pick a player and then back him based on your domestic stats, because I don't think
I
there's
think
any
that's
player.
my point.
Yeah, that is where I'm disappointed. I want to like the way we went to Jaiswal. We picked him for the West Indies series, and we were very clear he's going to play all games. We have picked him for this series, and going forward, I want to see you pick a player. like the other countries do. You drop, like Henry Nichols was dropped for New Zealand. You pick him, and then after that you say this is we're dropping you because you've not performed well. We're picking Daryl Mitchell to replace you, and going ahead we're going to give him so many games and let's see what he does. And I think that should happen, because like we know the struggles with KL Rahul, but he's never gone back to domestic cricket since 2018. So I don't
He
see
Yeah.
played
like,
the Dulip Trophy this year. He played the Dulip Trophy this year.
yeah, but it's just 2 3 games. Like, so
I
my
mean,
point
again,
is,
see, he is part of the white ball setup, so you have to have time to play the Ranji Trophy, right? The Ranji Trophy
yeah,
is
but
on right now. He's with the squad, so he can't go and play the Ranji Trophy in between a Test series.
no, I agree that. But so it
Mhm.
comes back to the point that I picked him based on the white ball form, right?
Yeah,
Because if he
with KL
plays,
Rahul, I agree. With KL Rahul, they picked him for a one series basis, if I'm not wrong. They picked him for South Africa, and he scored that 100, if everybody remembers, in that
yeah.
first test. And then you have to keep playing him. He played in England against England for that first test, got a 87 or 81. And then now Rohit Sharma is like, we are going to back him. Unfortunately, was dropped for the next test, where Gautam Gambhir
Yeah, I
came in and
think
said, we are going to back him. Yeah.
my point is that, and we'll introduce Ninad first. We'll get Ninad into this chat as
Yeah,
well,
the
and
discussion
we'll
has
see
got a
him
bit intense,
differently.
so we forgot to
Yeah,
introduce Ninad.
yeah, we'll introduce Ninad as well. But what my point is that what they've been doing in the past few years. Sarfaraz Khan is, I think, he's different, I think. But other than that, what they've been doing is that they've been looking at white ball cricket. They've been looking at guys who've been doing good, and then they go to the red ball record, make sure they
Yeah.
have a good red ball record, and the guys who have done well in IPL and have also done well in red ball cricket, those guys have been picked. Basically, I think the IPL is like a it's like, okay, you can do it on the big stage, with all the pressure and all the people watching and everything, and they just that's what I think. That's just like a what do you call it, a barrier for them. Okay, he's done well in the IPL, that means he can do well with pressure, he can do well when there's all these stars and everybody are there involved, and he's past that level, and now let's get him into the international level. And I think Siraj was picked in a similar way. Shreyas Iyer was picked in a similar way. um, Jaiswal had a very good red ball record, but as Kevin said, he did well in the IPL and only then he was picked. Shubman Gill also had a good red ball record, but he had to perform in the IPL and then he was picked. So I don't understand this. Rajat Patidar as well. I mean, he played in the IPL. He had a good red ball record, but he did well in the IPL. But anyway, let's move on.
I'll like to add on just one thing.
Yeah,
I think the Ajinkya Rahane situation, because I think you mentioned that, do we look at players like we do with bowlers? Like we had the first time I think we had this in Indian cricket was when we had with the Saha and Pant. Like Saha is going to be an
yeah,
Indian keeper, Pant is going to be just our overseas keeper.
overseas.
And I
Yeah,
think this was a good, like, it was something different. We could have seen that with Rani as well, because everyone knew he's struggling in India. We could have seen that with
yeah,
Rani as do we use him only as an overseas batsman? And this is something that
yeah.
there are rumors, not rumors, murmurs with KL Rahul. Do we do that with him also? Because KL Rahul is one unique play. He's got hundreds almost everywhere.
I think they are going to do it with that. Do it with him. I won't be surprised if he starts in Australia ahead of Sarfaraz Khan. I
Yeah,
won't be
because
surprised.
even I'm not surprised that he'll start, because but the point that I was like, if you're going to start him ahead, it makes sense to send him ahead as well with the India A game. We've already dropped him from the second test. I don't see him playing the third test. So if the if it's a similar pitch, I don't think we'll see a flat pitch. That we'll have the discussion a bit later. But I feel that if you're preparing this guy for your number 5 position, he's low on confidence. I think the best way to get confidence is to go play on those conditions, play against Australia A, get some runs under your belt, and be ready. Coming back to the second part of the IPL thing, the best case is Ajinkya Rani. He was dropped, poor form, had a sensational, IPL season 2023. I think he got a faster 50. His fastest 50 is better than Rohit Sharma's and Virat Kohli's, which I don't know how he managed to pull that off. And you picked him into the WTC. Now, definitely he did well in the IPL. I don't think his stats were really that good, but I didn't like the way the experts backed that decision, because I know you went back to him because he's the senior most player. You had to play him. He was your senior most player. You didn't. There were injuries, but he used that. Had he? The one thing that I would question is if he didn't have that good IPL season. Does anyone feel that he would have been able to play the WTC final?
Probably
I
not.
don't think so.
Probably not.
It was
Yeah,
just that good
probably
IPL
not.
season. And the good and the bad thing that happened is he did well in the final. Everyone else failed. You gave him two more games in West Indies. He didn't do well, and you dropped him. So it
Yeah.
was. It's a very the selection thing. I think you have to trust the process. I
I
don't
think
know. I think
when things go wrong, we can
yes.
talk about everything. When things go right, then no one talks about all of this. When things go wrong, all different angles we look at, all different things are happening. We go to the Ranji Trophy system. Are the pitches spinning over there? Are we preparing our batters over there for what we get in international cricket? All these things are going. But anyway, we'll get Ninad into the chat right now. Hi Ninad, how are you? We've been talking about the two test matches so far. Actually, we didn't get to the second test match, so we'll talk about the second test match at Pune. It was sad to see India lose again over there, um, and this time it
No, I
wasn't
think
46
Pune should
all out.
stop hosting Test cricket.
Yeah, at least they should as long as they're giving us rank turners, we should stop playing over there,
Yeah.
or at least get batters who can play spin better. But we'll talk about the second test match. It wasn't 46 all out, but the batting was still poor. And Mitch Santner takes 7 wickets. Washington Sundar was added to the squad and added to that 11 as well. And we had a few changes. KL Rahul was dropped. And yeah, I mean, what do you think about that second test match? Where did things go wrong for India? Oh, we can't hear
I
you.
don't think we can hear him, can we?
No, but I don't think you're muted either.
Strange.
You are unmuted, and there is a yeah,
Somebody has blocked his voice.
yeah, or his voice is gone.
That can
Okay,
also be the case.
can we? No,
No, you're not
no,
audible.
not yet. Okay, Ninad, you can we can get you back in there. We'll go to Shubham.
Yeah.
No, not yet.
I think
We
the
can go
second
back to
test
Shubham.
match,
Yeah.
yeah, talking about the second test match, I think it was pretty evident the game got over in the first innings. I mean India's first batting innings where they gave away a lead of 103 runs. 156 was definitely not par on that pitch. 259 is what sorry, yeah, 259 is what New Zealand got, and that 156 was definitely not going to be enough. Again, as we said, it was a collapse, 107 for 7, if I'm not wrong. And then Jadeja got some runs. Somehow India got to 156, but that was definitely not going to be enough. The top order, you had Jaiswal and Gill play for a while, but then Pant, Sarfaraz Khan, Pant, Sarfaraz Khan, Kohli, obviously playing that horrific shot and getting bowled off a full toss of Santner's bowling, and then even Rohit Sharma was disappointing with that outgoing delivery from Saudi, which got him bowled. So that 156 was definitely not enough, and then obviously it was just a formality in my opinion. There were people talking about India have an opportunity to chase down 359, but that was never going to be the case on that kind of a wicket. 359 was well above par, and as it turned out, India got bowled out for 245. But yeah, we will keep talking about the uh, Nikhil is back. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nikhil is back. Yeah,
we'll get Ninad back
six
then. We'll
people are
talk
watching
about
this
the
stream.
second.
Unfortunately, it got the watching got down by 50%. It's now just 3 people watching the stream. But whoever is watching, go
Ninad
ahead and
went
ask your
and three
questions.
people
I know
left.
we have a lot of questions, and we will take this question when we come to the BGT. But anybody who wants to ask questions on the India New Zealand series, on the Indian batting lineup, whatever you feel, you can ask personal questions to Nikhil as well. Just shoot it out in the comments.
Yeah. Kevin will. Okay, we got Ninad back.
No, we
No,
haven't.
no. Unfortunately, Ninad, your audio is not working. Try disconnecting your whole setup and try
I think
Just
reconnecting. Is
if you have
what
a
I
good
can.
budget, I think we can sponsor him a new headset. I think it's always been an issue.
Yeah, unfortunately, it won't go there this second. So we'll have to. He'll have to work. He'll have to. But okay, we'll
Nina,
go
just
back
shut
to
down
the.
your laptop and watch the stream on the phone.
Okay,
Just
we'll.
joking. You can try and restart your laptop or the system or whatever you are on and try joining it again. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should sponsor like an IT technician for go to everybody's houses and figure out everything. But okay, we'll talk about the second test match. We have to. Um, it wasn't good. The batting again was poor. Washington Sundar takes 7 wickets. I mean, that's incredible, honestly. I mean, he comes in. There's always, it feels like even in the England series, Akshar Patel came in and took all those wickets. There's always this new guy who comes up, and he's not new, but he's new for the opposition. And I don't know, different angles and different height and all of that, and it becomes a little different. You can prepare against Ashwin and Jadeja, but you won't prepare against Washington Sundar. He offers something different, and there were three left-handers in the top four, so that worked out well for India. He was picked in the BGT. We'll talk about that later. But Kevin, same old problems come up for India again. The batting was poor, and this time I think even Ashwin and Jadeja, I talked about it earlier, that they've had a poor series. Honestly, I think on day three when India got those 5 wickets pretty quickly, that was maybe the first time Ashwin and Jadeja, more so Jadeja, looked threatening actually. And this time it was a pitch that was it wasn't turning a lot, actually, if you look at it. I mean, it was slow and it was dry, but it wasn't really turning a lot. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the second test match?
So, the way I see the sport is how you handle failure. So we lost the first test match, and everyone was like, oh, it's just a one bad session, and we lost the game. Coming to Pune, and there was this joke that Manjrekar did, and he mentioned that if the pitch doesn't turn, then definitely the curator's in trouble. And it was said that it would be a slow turner, and he did a really good job with a slow turner. I didn't think it was a really good pitch in my opinion. And
Mm,
and I was joking the friend. I said, Rohit Sharma, he has to bring his one skill to the table. He has to win the toss. And unfortunately, he lost the toss. I was hoping that maybe if New Zealand could put 300, 350 on the board, maybe it'll be tough for India. But the good thing, the way the bowlers bowled, especially I think it was. I think Ashwin had the first 3 wickets, and then Washington came. I think in the second session, and he just ran through the uh, you can say the batting order. And at 250, I felt it was advantage India because on that pitch, 250 was seemed a very underpass score. And coming back to the selection of Washington Sundar is really funny because there's always, in my opinion, the third spinner should have been Akshar Patel. But the reason they went to Sundar put in a question mark, and I was unsure whether was Ashwin unfit that you were considering Washington Sundar. But then when I looked at Washington Sundar's numbers, if you see in the 3 games that he played in Dulux Trophy, he went wicketless 3 times and just took 3 wickets, but he made
yeah.
a comeback on the 150 he scored, and the 6 wickets he took in the test match. So maybe India was banking on his batting more, and the only reason I feel that he edged Akshar Patel was because in the first test match you had Conway and Ravindra, the CSK duo who has experience and seemed the best players that New Zealand have.
The two
Uh,
lefties.
Yes, so maybe the plan was to have the two offies, Ashwin and Washington, bowl in tandem, and to restrict that partnership. So inspired selection, it did really well. I felt it was an advantage India, but for some reason that last day that wicket that fell of Rohit Sharma, I think just kind of like handed New Zealand a slight advantage, which they maximized on next day. 150 was, in my opinion, was a very poor score. I think they should have outperformed because we're talking about Mitch Santner. He's not been near the test team of New Zealand. They've already looked past him. Ajaz Patel is the number one spinner. He takes wickets, but every over he hands them the opposition advantage with a boundary ball. You had Michael Bracewell, who unfortunately missed only the second test because he had to go back for the birth of his child. So the only
Mm,
reason he played was because he was the Michael Bracewell was you can say unavailable, and it's commendable because the first over or the second over, they started with Saudi and Amit Santner. So the faith that they showed in this guy in Sri Lanka, I think he had just 1 wicket or something. He hadn't taken or 3 wickets. I'm not sure. Hadn't done well. You just banked on him. Maybe seeing the success that Washington Sundar had, tall, bowler, just some balls skidding in, some balls, going away, and he delivered. I think that that innings where India were unable to take the lead, I think that backfired. It was definitely not a 150 kind of surface, and we saw it in the second innings that India batted. On the second innings, if you could get 250, you definitely could have got around 200. Not being 100 for I think seven it was on that on the second day first session, which so I don't think the pitch was bad. I think it was poor technique. They allowed Mitch Santner to get into his rhythm, and that was
Mhm.
where you could say it on the Indian batsmen. I think they played it the way Australia played the fourth test of Gaba. You know, it, they kind of like knew they had to win it, and in that
Yeah.
desperation, I think the pressure of the fear of losing, I think, got to them. And Virat Kohli, the way he came out, you felt that he wanted it so bad. I was the more than Ajaz Patel, I think uh, he should have tried to avoid Santner as much as possible, get off strike, but he tried to get off the mark against Ajaz Patel, played that first over of Mid Santner, and he got that opportunity full toss, and I don't know why he had to be over aggressive, but it was bad luck. I think I don't know. I can't comprehend how they couldn't take apart this New Zealand bowling attack, because this is the first time I think New Zealand is playing in India without even a warm up game, and
Yeah.
they could
They
be said
played
that
two games against Sri Lanka and they lost
yes.
both.
Yeah, they lost both, and I always have this debate in Asia. If you don't win the toss, it's as good as losing the test match. So they had lost
Yeah.
tosses to Bangladesh. They lost two tosses to Sri Lanka, and the first test match also they lost the toss. And coming back to since 2012, they hadn't won a single toss until the Pune test match. So they had gone like six test matches without winning the toss, and to get the
So they've been
kind
a
of like
little bit unlucky.
yeah. So the moment they
Yeah.
got the
And
luck,
test.
I think they made the most of it. With nine batsmen, 150. I don't know. I would like to hear Shubham's thoughts on this, but I think they could have done better, because it it's unacceptable, because these are the conditions that your batsmen are born and brought up on. And
Yeah.
in the Dillip Trophy, if a spinner is unable to can take wickets, but he's taking wickets in you can say in the Test match, it just shows the difference in the pitch quality. So maybe that opinion of having these players play domestic more and being ready for international also wouldn't have helped, because on in domestic the pitches are not turning as much as they're turning in international cricket. So I think there has to be some balance. Maybe going forward with this new management, we'll try to have that the similarity. But yeah, it's. I'd like to hear what Shubham has on this.
Yeah, we'll go to Shubham. What do you think about I
No, I
again I
think, as I
saw your
said,
reel.
156 was the issue in the first innings. That was definitely not enough. I think the bowling was fine in the first innings. Jadeja looked clueless on that wicket. To be honest, he was bowling too quick, and you had to bowl slow into onto the stumps, which Santner did absolutely perfectly in the first and the second innings. Jadeja probably found his rhythm on day three, first session, but before that he looked absolutely
Yeah.
clueless. He was just bowling fast like he does on most of the wickets, but on this wicket it was not going to work. I think Shabby, who does come on our podcast occasionally, not occasionally, quite frequently, has said that Santner bowled 29 of 60 overs in that Pune heat. Unbelievable, because Shabby was at that match. He put out a photo on our WhatsApp group as well. He had gone to watch day three, and he saw Santner bowl all those 29 overs. But yeah, as Kevin asked me to talk about, I think the 156, that was the game clincher in my opinion. That was definitely not enough, and that costed India the game. And India need to get better against spin bowling, as we have discussed time and again on this podcast as well.
Yeah, it's been poor. Both these test matches have been
Five
poor
people are
as
watching
we
us.
watch
Just
earlier.
quickly, if anybody wants to ask any questions, any personal questions as well to Nikhil, because he has agreed to answer all the personal questions you ask. So anything personal if you want to ask. Are we going to we have a question, are we going to have a similar weight for Virat's 81st like we did for the 71st? I think at this point Virat's century is out of the question. We just need to get more runs from him. He averages 30 in the last 5 years in test cricket. That's definitely not enough. People are talking about
Yeah,
KL
well,
Rahul's
the good thing
average.
is
Yeah, sorry.
next test match series is in Australia, so
So we
you
can
never
expect
know.
400s in five test matches.
From who?
Maybe,
KL Rahul?
maybe.
Is it
from
Kerala or?
Virat
No.
Kohli.
Oh, Virat Kohli.
Okay, we'll move on. There's, as I said, there's one more test match to go in Mumbai, and hopefully India win that. And Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll talk about the BGT squad first, and then we'll
Woo!
talk about the Pakistan home series. BGT squad
I
finally it's
mean,
here.
get some build up. It's the BGT. Four
Yeah,
zero
it's the
India losing
BGT.
it 4-0. Yeah.
Are you
BGT.
expecting us to be drawn? Is that,
See,
No, I
let's
think.
let's go traditionally. Let's go traditionally. Last two BGTs, last two Ashes series, only one test gets a draw. That's the SCG test. Let's assume the
Yeah.
SCG test is a draw. It's a four-match test series.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I am hopeful, obviously, but you look at it, India's won two times now. Surely Australia, they'll be thinking like this time, like we have to beat them, right? There'll be a little bit added hunger in them. Like surely this time now, yeah, they have to beat us. But I don't know. Hopefully we do win there. The squad's
we
been
we we
announced.
ha- we have a lot of comments. Let's go. I remember the last time we did predictions and everyone was wrong except who was
I
correct.
think he's referring to himself, if I'm not
Oh, is
wrong.
he? Because I was definitely wrong. After the Adelaide test, I had gone ahead and said that India could lose this 4-0, if not 3-0. Forget about the series result. Can India win the day night test? Just a quick,
Adelaide.
yeah, it's Adelaide. Adelaide is a pink ball test. I'll just give you the schedule quickly. First test match, Perth, Optus Stadium, 22nd November. Second test match, Adelaide pink ball test, as Shabby mentions. It's the day night test match. India lost the last day night test match and got bowled out for 36. Third test match, guess what? Gabba. Australia have not kept the Gabba at last. It's the third test match. It's the test match in between so that they can win and take a 3-0 lead. Fourth test match, obviously, the Boxing Day test match, MCG, and fifth test match, the New Year's test match, SCG. Yeah, Nikhil, go ahead.
So what we're thinking that in the first three test matches, the result is done because MCG,
Definitely,
SCG
that's
is
how that's how
India's.
they have scheduled it. Because see, Perth Optus Stadium
Yeah,
ball will bounce this
yeah,
high. You saw what happened in Bangalore when the ball was bouncing, steep bounce. India couldn't handle it. Pink
yeah,
ball test, no need to talk about it. And then Gabba, I think law of averages, what we call, because
yeah.
Australia have now lost two Gabba test matches, one against India and last year one against West Indies as well.
West Indies, yeah, yeah. I mean, MCG and SCG. Hopefully, we do well over there. MCG
Yeah,
especially. SCG, as you said, the it might be a draw. Pitch is very flat. But yeah, we have a day-night test match. We have one in Perth, so fast bowlers are going to be needed. We have gotten some new fast bowlers, uncapped fast bowlers. Harshit Rana is in there. Prasidh Krishna is not uncapped, but
it's
he's basically new.
uncapped for KKR, uncapped.
Yeah, uncapped for now. I mean, basically until retentions, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's done now, I guess. Yeah, yeah. So they're safe. So he's uncapped. Harshit Rana, Prasidh Krishna have been added. Yash Dayal has missed out. Kuldeep
Correct,
Yadav has missed out. I think he's
correct.
injured, so that's why he's missed
Yeah,
out. Akash Deep is still there. No Shami, so that means Siraj is going to be the second fast bowler for India, basically
correct.
sharing the new ball with Bumrah. And I am not very confident on that fast bowling front, Kevin. I mean,
And that's exactly a
Siraj,
question which Shabby had asked a while ago. What lies ahead for India in BGT now? Where I feel the Indian batting lineup can perform, but it's the bowling attack which looks questionable now for Australia conditions. I think we discussed this, Kevin, on WhatsApp as well or on a call that the bowling lineup looks definitely questionable.
yeah,
yes. So I'm a little surprised with the way they've gone about and plan and the way they planned for it because some of the selections that they made, no Akshar Patel in the squad, no Kuldeep Yadav in the squad,
No,
and
Kuldeep is injured. Kuldeep is injured.
when did that happen? He played the first
Kuldeep is
test.
injured. Yeah,
No, it's a long-term groin injury, is
they
what they have said.
announced it.
Yeah.
Yeah, chronic groin injury. So he's been dealing with it for a while, apparently.
But I was really surprised with Akshar Patel not playing because tall spinner. I was thinking he'll get bounced the way Jadeja is. The way the way like I've always felt that Jadeja is a very good spinner on ranked turners, but when the pitch is flat, you want someone who can hold at one end. Maybe the arm ball, vary the pace. In those departments, I feel Akshat Patel is a more complete spinner, but like stats wise. Stats say a different thing. They say that Jadeja averages 21 in Australia. So it's I was thinking that there would be that pressure on Jadeja to hold a spot, but now with Washington Sundar coming, I feel that Ashwin might, I don't see Ashwin playing any of the five tests. Maybe
No, no, no.
SCG
He
might.
will play the MCG SCG test.
Okay, I'm not sure because the way he something it just feels that he's injured or he's not at his best. The way he bowled in this
Yeah,
last two
that's
test
why I'm saying
matches.
he will play the MCG SCG test, not the first cup
So
test.
So
Shubham, you're saying that means for Adelaide and for Perth, we're going with four fast bowlers,
Yeah, starting 11. Let's
or
get there.
with
Let's
each
get there.
leg.
Let's get there. So
Yeah, let's get there.
yeah, coming back. So
Perth first test match. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
I
Sorry,
was thinking
cut
Yash
you off.
Dayal would maybe like Yash Dayal over Harshad Rana was what I was thinking, that one left arm seamer, and Yash Dayal can swing the ball. He was swinging it in Bangalore, so I was hoping maybe they would look at that one option, but they've completely surprised me with the selection of Harshad Rana and Nitish Reddy, which I wasn't seeing it coming. I thought, and there is uh,
Nikhil saw it coming, by the way. Nikhil saw it coming.
Yeah,
I'll cut that clip and put it out there. Nikhil definitely saw it coming.
Yeah, I was completely stumped because both Prasidh Krishna and Harshidan, I think they've been picked on potential because I think they seem like the bowlers who could extract bounce and all. But the issue with Australia is and that back in the day, the Indian bowlers would get carried away with the bounce. They wouldn't know what the right lengths were, and even Ishant Sharma for that matter, he till the time he was unsold in the IPL auction, went to county, learned what are the right lengths to bowl. He too wasn't able to kind of like make the most of those conditions. He had those spells against pointing, but except that he was always more of you can say in Australia it's very if you don't know the right lengths to bowl, the bounce and the pace is not helpful. And the advantage that India had in 2021 was that their ability to play 100 overs. In Australia, it's more about temperament, tiring out the bowlers. The reason that India won the Gabba Test is because going into the Test match, they ensured that Australia bowled 100 overs on three consecutive occasions. And this so the it's more of the batting and the bowling has to complement each other. You might not get runs, but you have to tire out the bowlers because unlike India, Australia just plays with four bowlers. It's always been Stark, Hazelwood, and Cummins, with Nathan Lyon holding one end. So the our success was because when you have someone like Pujara who's not giving you wickets, so you're forcing the bowlers to keep bowling and bowling, and at the other end you have someone who's playing aggressive cricket. Maybe it's be it Shubman Gill for that matter or Pant. The pressure that Pujara is building up by holding his wicket and the number of runs that the others are getting just adds on and complements the batting style of Indian cricket. But now with the coming back to your point, will they miss such a player? I think they will miss because in Australia, I don't think they'll be phased. You play you on the up, you play a cut shot, you scored for four. They'll bowl it to you they'll bowl it to you again and say do it again, play it again. And can the it's not like India where the grounds are small, so you hit a boundary, you can go for 20 and an over, and then the bowler scratching his head. That doesn't happen in Australia. You it's very difficult to be consistent with your short selection. So in that aspect, I think it's going to be tough. The bowling, I'm very disappointed. I feel that if you're looking at Akashdeep, uh, besides Bumrah, your backups, your third, fourth seamer is going to be Akashdeep and Siraj, and you've just dropped Siraj based on poor form. In these
yeah.
conditions. So if you could
I
just
wouldn't be
get them.
surprised if by the time the fifth test match comes in, like our fast bowling is completely different. Obviously, Bumrah will stay, but I wouldn't be surprised if we've got two new guys in
That's
instead of
that's what that's what Shabby is saying. He is reading your mind before even you are about to talk. Looking
yeah,
forward to
Mukesh
Mukesh
Kumar.
Kumar, who is in the reserves,
If
by the way, who's in the reserves.
someone needs to get injured, which won't be
Uh,
good
Taking a
for him to
fifer in the
play.
fifth test, we all know it's all about reserve players in the Australia. T Natarajan last time, Washington Sundar last time, picking up 3 wickets in the first innings. Did I miss out anyone? I think Shardul Thakur came in, but
Shardul Thakur, I'm surprised he's not there in the squad. I
Navdeep
it
Saini
just
as well.
Navdeep Saini is in the reserves.
Was it
Seven
was it
people
just
are
two?
watching the stream, guys. Seven people. Thala for a reason. If you have any questions, please put it out in the comment section. Kevin has also agreed to answer any personal questions. So go ahead and ask personal questions as well, apart from the India
Yeah,
Australia
if
series
we get to
which is
if we get
coming.
to 10 viewers, Shubham has also agreed, by the way,
Correct, correct,
to
correct.
answer personal questions. Okay, playing 11. Shubham, we'll go to you
Playing
first.
11,
What
that's
is
my
your playing
favorite
11?
topic as always. So let's get there. Playing 11, I think I
You
will
have
go
to assume the conditions now, obviously, a little bit,
Perth Optus
what you're
Stadium,
getting.
green pitch. Last time India played four fast bowlers, they'll go with four fast bowlers again. But let's start with the top. Kevin, you're listening carefully, right?
Yeah,
Rohit Sharma is missing the first test, is what everybody has heard. So yeah, we have got a personal question. We first need to answer this. Kevin sir, शादी कब कर रहे हो?
हम्म, ऐसे करियर प्लानिंग के साथ फैमिली प्लानिंग थोड़ा होल्ड पे है.
You should have answered like when New Zealand wins a World Cup or something like that, so that it's indefinitely whenever.
I said a lot of things. If New Zealand wins a Test series in India, I'll do this, that, and all, and that's happened now. So it's my God.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, coming back to the 11, I think Rohit Sharma is missing the first test match, birth of child. Obviously, birth of child is always either in an Australia series or in an England series. So
Yeah.
Abhimanyu Ishwaran with Yashasvi
That's
Jaiswal
the
to open the
bigger
inning.
topic, right? They need to plan
Study
that
this.
properly.
They need to study this. How come are all the birth of child is coming either in Australia series or in England series? Not
Exactly.
during the
Yeah.
IPL.
Planning is easy. You can plan that.
yeah. You can plan that in the during the IPL. I think it's easy to plan for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming back to the 11, I think Abhimanyu Ishwaran, Yashasvi Jaiswal, that's where India has lost the test match, in my opinion. Because two new batters who haven't batted in Australia are going to open the innings. Gill at 3, Kohli at 4, Pant at 5. That picks themselves, those three pick themselves. Number 6 is a question I will keep empty as of now. 7, Jadeja. 8, 9, 10, 11. I think 9, 10, 11 is Bumrah, Siraj, Akashdeep, at least for the first test. 6 and 8 are the two positions open. Let's debate. Nikhil, let's start with you. Who is 6? Is it KL Rahul or Sarfaraz Khan? I think those are the two options which we are looking at.
Yeah, so my thing is, as long as Sarfaraz plays the Mumbai Test match, I think he'll play the first Test match in
Okay.
Perth. I think if he
Okay.
gets dropped and if KL Rahul comes back in,
Mm-hmm.
then they'll stick with KL Rahul. Basically, what whoever plays in the last Test match will play. I think there is a question on Sarfaraz, obviously, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how how let's say equipped he is for those pitches.
Correct. Correct.
KL Rahul has done well,
Mm-hmm.
so they can go back to him. I mean, I won't mind if they give Sarfaraz one test match, two test matches. Doesn't work out, we'll go back to KL Rahul. That can be something they'll do. And about the number 8 position, I mean, I recently heard that apparently Harshit Rana is a bowling
Yeah.
all rounder,
Yes,
which
he
I
is.
didn't
I
even
was going
know.
to come to that. I am picking Harshit
Yeah.
Rana as my number 8, just putting it out there because he can bat. He will make his debut in Perth, is what I'm assuming. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Nitish Kumar Reddy is in the IPL, like this is for people who don't know. In the IPL, he came out as a batter, but in domestic cricket, he has been a number 7, number 8. Mostly he's been a number 7, number 8. He's been a bowling all rounder, and obviously Sunrisers saw something and they pushed him up the order in the IPL. And that's why I thought that other than Shardul Thakur, he's probably the only other guy we have. Like literally, there's no other guy, no other bowling all rounder we have who can slot in at number 8. So I would be surprised if he makes his debut. I think in like the pecking order, if you look at it, he's probably ahead of Harshit Rana, but Harshit Rana is a more of a bowler than a
Correct.
batter,
Correct.
and that might give him the edge. But I mean, I asked this in the chat and in the group chat, no one answered me. Is Harshit Rana, is what's his pace? Is he like a hit the deck bowler? Is he a swing
He is a
bowler?
hit the deck
I'm not
bowler.
sure.
He's a hit the deck bowler. He can get to around
Is he
at
fast?
140. Yeah, 140, 145. Not 145
Okay.
consistently, but definitely 140. Gill for Rohit
Because
in first test. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, go
Nitish
ahead.
Kumar isn't he isn't fast. He'll bowl
He
like
isn't fast. He is
125,
one
130s.
twenty five,
Yeah,
130. Yeah. So that might
yeah,
not work in Australia because less speed, you might find it difficult to get wickets or get bounce as well. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, who are you going with? Number 6, you said whoever plays Wankhede plays the first test, and number 8 you are going in with
I'm going to back my boy. I'm going with Nitish Kumar Reddy.
Nitish Kumar Reddy, SRH. Are they
Yeah.
retaining him? That's a question for
It
another
might
day.
not be the correct decision, but I'm
Yeah,
still going to back him.
yeah. Let's just quickly read out Ninad's 11 as well. Rohit Sharma, Jaiswal, but he also said Gill for Rohit in first test and bring in AE as in Abhimanyu Ishwaran. The only
Oh,
change
you
I
dropped
see,
Jadeja.
yeah, he's dropped Jadeja. He's going in with Ashwin ahead of Jadeja, and he's picked Prasidh Krishna as the fourth pacer at number 8. I mean, the number doesn't matter because the four fast bowlers can come in any order. But yeah, so basically he's saying long tail, but I feel four pacers is a must.
I don't
Kevin,
mind that. If the pitch is like if it's a green top, I
mm-hmm.
don't mind that. Just go in with four proper fast bowlers and let's go. Like I
No,
don't
even
mind that
Harshit
either.
Rana is a proper fast bowler. It's not like he's not a fast bowler,
Yeah, I
but
agree,
yeah,
but maybe Prasidh Krishna has his height,
mm-hmm.
right? That's the only
Hmm.
thing.
True.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking, it depends. The India A games and that India versus India A game will decide because you will need statistics to get KL back into the 11,
mm-hmm.
and maybe if Sarfraz does well in in the third test or in the India versus India A game, you'll see Sarfraz batting at number 6, and you might see KL open the innings
No,
because
what?
I said that you
Sarfaraz
will
batting at
see.
number 6, KL Rahul again opening the innings.
Yes, yes. I'm not
Just for the
sure.
first test, just for because
Yes, for the
Rohit is
first
back for
test.
the second.
Yes, yes, that is they're going to do that. And if whoever does well, whoever gets more runs, just like we had with Matthew Wade in 2021, where he went from number 5 to open the innings, and then after that he went from the top to the bottom. Similarly, we did something with Hanuma Vihari as well for the third test that we won in
Mm-hmm.
2018.
Mm-hmm.
We had that middle order bat, so they'll pick the best. You can say the six batsmen, and they'll shuffle around just to avoid that situation where you're having two youngsters. Face the new ball against Stark Cummins and Hazelwood. You don't want you just don't want. Normally, it's Virat Kohli at 10 for 2 back in the day, but we would have him at 10 for 2 after 6 7 overs. You don't want him to be 10 for 2 in the first 2 overs. We just batting more time. So that is
I
what I.
I don't mind that idea. I quite like what you're suggesting because KL
This is
Rahul is
what.
a technically solid player
Yes, but
in an ideal situation. Unfortunately, gets out for three
But
as well
wouldn't
most
you
of the
mind,
time.
wouldn't you say Shubman Gill should then go up?
No, no, Gill is batting at three, irrespective of what happens.
Because
it,
in the
it may
last series, he's like literally
Yeah, he
last series he
opened.
was
He
out.
opened. Yeah,
So
in the last BGT, which happened in Australia. He opened. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
difficult because the narrative is that Gill wants to bat in the middle order. That is the reason he's batting at number 3. Now you want to push
correct.
him to number 3. If you push him to open, who's going to bat at 3? Because then the narrative is that you have picked Abhimanyu Iswaran to open the innings, and now you're playing him at a number 3. So I don't
By the
understand
way,
how
I
you.
think I think I think he as long as he's been picked, I think he will play. Like the reason they've picked him is for him to play that first test match. Otherwise, I think you can just go in with one backup batter. It's not that you don't need a backup opener. I think.
The way I see Indian cricket is, and
No,
like
but the
Ajay
only
Jadeja.
question is this is a new team management. That's the only question. That
Yeah,
happened
that's
a lot in Ravi
yeah.
Shastri's tenure, and even in Rahul Dravid's tenure. You could say it happened a bit, but mostly in Ravi Shastri's tenure, where KL Rahul's batting position was getting flipped almost every other Test match.
Yeah, but just in defense of Ravi Shastri, I think
Kevin, it's a
if
personal praise for you. Just read it. Read it.
I mean, exactly it is a matches 4 to 5. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. But yeah,
That's why we have him on the pod.
Definitely.
uh, coming back to the point is that uh, I this is what I would have hoped if it was the old management. With Gambhir, it's difficult because if this is something that they were considering, definitely would have had KL Rahul
At
in the
three in the
at 3
first
in the
Test
first
match. Yeah.
test. But I think it depends on how the next 3 India games are going to be really crucial for Abhimanyu Iswaran. If he gets runs, if he gets 1 or 2 centuries, then he's definitely playing the first test as an opener. But in case if he doesn't get good scores, you're going to use those stats to diminish his quality and his readiness to play Test cricket, and you're going to drop him. And you're going to say, "K. Rahul, you've got 100. You've got 100. I think you got 100 at number 3 in 2014. That is the only 100 he has in Australia. So
Was it at number three or opening the batting?
I thought it was. I'm not
Number three.
sure.
It
Was
was
it
number
that
three. Yeah.
190 that he got, or was
Mm,
that in
No,
India?
in 14,
in 14.
2014.
Just a quick two guys batting for the first time on Australia soil opened last time in the first test, Shaw and Gill, and we all know what. I don't think Shaw and Gill opened together.
Never together.
Yeah, first
Gill
test it
came in
was,
later.
yeah, first test it was Mayank and Shaw. Then Shaw got dropped. Second test it was Mayank and Gill, and then from third test match it was Gill and Rohit for third and
Yes.
fourth test. So Shaw
Yeah.
and Gill didn't bat together, but yeah, they were both in the squad.
Yeah, the last time the two new guys, batted, opened the innings, I think was, I think you can say Vihari and Mayank Agrawal, third
Mayank,
test
correct. That was
2018.
the MCG test. That was the
Yeah,
MCG test
first
in,
instance of
correct,
two,
new players. Yeah.
new players opening the, yeah. But it's tough. Like, whatever happens, you have to back the players. Irrespective of the result, I don't want them to use the stats to pick and drop players. You have to tell if Abhimanyu Iswaran now itself, and we're going to back you irrespective of what happens. We don't use stats against you, so that way you the player's confident. He plays his natural game. You don't want him to, because the Australia A, I don't think we have good relationships with them as of now. So you don't want to see them play their next best 11. You're just going to see them give us some random players a random pitch to prepare the India A versus Australia A game. So even the stats, it might not be that helpful for us to it's just about the player. If he gets some runs, it's confidence. If he doesn't get some runs, it's yeah, you can just say hard luck. But so coming back to that point is, it's tempting that I want to see Abhimanyu Iswaran, but I don't want him to be a scapegoat. If India loses that first game, I don't want him to miss out completely. You
No,
have
but
to back
he,
him, like.
anyways, whoever opens in the first match won't open in the second match because
But let's say,
Sharma will
if
be
you
back.
let's say he bats well and gets a 50 or 100. I think 100 is too much, but if he gets a 50 in that first inning, if that in the first game,
Mhm.
do we
I think
see
he'll
a
still be dropped
Yeah,
as long as Rohit
unfortunately, he
Sharma
will be
comes back
dropped
in.
because
Yeah,
so I think
and
that's
that's
why
where the
also
that's
no?
Kevin's solution makes more sense. You can just put in KL Rahul. Even if he gets a
yeah. I
50 or a
mean,
100, you can push him back to number 6 instead of Sarfaraz Khan, assuming
Yeah,
that
because
Sarfaraz
yeah.
doesn't score runs.
yeah, so because I was like, if the opener scores runs and you're number five, both whoever plays K Rahul or Sarfaraz doesn't do well, you know. Can we have the opener player number five, number six? We had that with Mayank Agrawal when in 2021 fourth Test match where we didn't have players, so you had that opener play in that slot just because he,
Yeah, I think teams do this. Like Australia did that, right? Steve Smith opened because they're looking at, okay, let's what are our best six
best
batters,
options.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
what are
seen
our
it
Yeah.
best
with.
six batters, and they just play, and then we'll figure out who bats where. We'll figure that out later. If you look at it that way, KL Rahul right now is the backup batter, like as long as Sarfaraz is batting. So
Exactly.
probably should be KL Rahul.
Hmm.
But I agree, like to Shubham's point, if Abhimanyu Ishwaran scores runs, he's getting dropped, which is
Dropped. Yeah.
very, very unfair. It's
I mean,
incredibly unfair. And
but
then
what?
there's another question is that if Abhimanyu Ishwaran plays,
Hmm.
Mhm.
I mean, I was thinking about KL Rahul. Like
Yeah.
KL Rahul, I feel like you need KL Rahul because you've got Sarfaraz Khan, you've got Jaiswal, and you've got Abhimanyu Ishwaran.
Mhm.
All of these
And they
guys have
haven't
not.
played a test in Australia.
Yeah, out of
Correct.
your
Yeah.
top six, three of these guys are basically inexperienced, have no experience in these conditions. Okay, so that's a case for KL Rahul then. So it's going to be interesting, and maybe like what Kevin said, it all depends on the India A test, those matches.
Mhm.
What Abhimanyu Iswaran does there. If he fails miserably, then yeah, I think they'll look at something else. But I think in this moment of time, I think they're looking at him as to open in the first test match.
It's very tricky. It's like a chess move. No matter what you do, you're going to get criticized until the result is
Yeah.
is out. The third test match is really crucial for against New Zealand. Is very crucial for Team India because you want to see who's going to play there. Is Sarfraz
Mhm.
going to play, or is KL Rahul who's going to play? The one who's not going to play, I wish that person is released and joins the India A
Mm,
squad and play the
I
second
agree.
test
I
match.
don't think we have time. He can play the second India it is. The
Yeah,
first test
the first
starts on
is no way.
30, 30, yeah,
Yeah,
30
so you have
October.
that player play those games, and then after that, you pick the player because it's very difficult for me to see Sarfaraz, even if Sarfaraz gets 100 in the next test match. I don't see how the Indian team is going to show confidence in him and playing on Australia, because that is the reason that we're not picking him in the test squad in India, because we weren't sure how he's going to handle pace. So now everyone knows the conditions are different. So even if he gets 100, I don't see the confidence in him to have him face Cummins, Stark, and Hazelwood. Because even if you see the first game where he got 100, there's hardly any shots in front of the wicket. There's everything behind.
Yeah.
And in Australia, I don't think it's going to be that easy to play the uppercut and to. It's a home ground for Sarfraz. He'll play the third one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
think
think
he will play.
it, currently with the 150, I think he got, he's got more runs than with. Uh,
Then
I,
KL
I
Rahul has got in the last three tests.
Yeah.
I was going that way, but I just stopped. I didn't want to. Yeah, I don't didn't want to say that. But yeah, coming back to the bowling is interesting because five bowlers or four bowlers, it's really tough with that batting lineup. And I feel that it shouldn't happen, but who knows? We might have both Sarfraz and KL play. You have Pant at five. You have six and seven would be Sarfraz and KL Rahul, and
Hmm.
you would have just either four fast bowlers or
Four
you'll have three plus
bowlers.
one. Yeah, that's also a possibility. And maybe the thought will be, let us, even we're okay to lose this game. It's the pink ball test. We'll just call it as a one off, but we'll at least
No,
test
no,
our
the first
players.
match is not the pink ball test.
Oh,
The
sorry,
first,
it's in Perth. It's in Perth.
Second one is big ball.
Yeah. So let's go with four play. Like the way India has to tour back in
didn't they do
2000.
that in 2018 where India went in with four fast bowlers at Perth and no spinner and batting till
Yes,
seven,
yes,
batting
yes.
till
We
eight,
lost
so
that.
7, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we lost that test match, but yeah, we
correct.
did so. And back in 2010-11, when Dhoni used to tour, we would have only four. We would have just four bowlers,
Yeah, four
three plus
bowlers.
one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that also something that they could consider. Let's play two. Play both the guys in the middle order, and who's going to bowl? Maybe have Jaiswal bowl. Maybe encourage Jaiswal. Can you bowl a bit? That is the
Yeah.
or maybe have Sarfaraz, the way he
Yeah,
bowled that last over against I don't know the team. They were defending 6 runs in 2019. Ashwin gave him
yeah, I
the
remember.
ball
Yeah,
over
I remember. Yeah,
Sam Curran. Maybe you can ask him to bowl,
but
but
just off-field thought as well. If India play with four fast bowlers, the
yes,
over rate will be an issue.
that's why I said you have to have someone like
Yeah, and
Jaiswal.
India can't afford to lose points on overrate as well now at this point of time. If you are talking about the WTC, just a
Yeah,
different point, completely different point. Just putting it out there.
it's very tricky. This is something that they might consider, but I don't know. And because even if they think of considering this, maybe one of Sarfraz would get dropped for someone like a Nitish Reddy for that matter, or play Washington and Jadeja both.
Yeah, I
So
think that is definitely an option. They might consider Sundar as a batting all rounder and play him at number six,
I
asking
think
him to bat and
at this
bowl
point
a
of
few.
time we'll have to say well played Australia because they're having the first Test match in Perth with so much uncertainty against within this Indian team. So
So wait,
it's
Shabby has suggested a bowling attack. He says NKR, Nitish Kumar Reddy, Jadeja, Akashdeep slash Prasidh Krishna, Siraj Bumrah looks to be the balanced bowling attack for the first test.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
That's
I
what
think instead of
Nikhil
NKR, you
suggested.
can,
That's what Nikhil suggested. I am going in
yeah,
with Harshit
instead,
Rana instead of NKR, but
yeah.
I mean, anyways, both haven't played a test match for India
What
ever.
did we do in what did we do in South Africa? Do you remember that, Kevin?
Yeah, India went in with
Last year.
Thakur for the first test. Thakur for
yeah.
the first test,
Right.
and then Thakur was dropped, and India went in with four fast bowlers: Mukesh, Prasidh, Bumrah, and Siraj.
I'm
And
actually
Jadeja as well.
Obviously, yeah, Jadeja was the spinner.
Yeah, so I think we'll stick with that. I think we'll stick with five
Five
bowlers, and
bowlers, yeah.
if we start losing test matches, then I think
Especially
we should
getting
keep
bowled
matching.
out for 200, then we might see an extra batter, as Kevin is suggesting, and
yeah.
just four bowlers.
I don't think the score. I don't think there is a the meeting of the minds between the selection committee and the coach and team management, because I think maybe they are looking at that India versus India game, which I think is going to be telecast as well, live
Yeah, yeah,
telecast.
it is going to be telecasted. 15th
So
November is what I think is the date.
yes, so based on that game, I think that the decisions will be taken. I wish they had taken Shardul Thakur because I would have said instead of NKR, he gives me more confidence. He's got a 50 in Australia. He's got runs and it's not about the runs; it's the confidence that he brings to the side. You know, he
Yeah,
he
I
he
agree.
he'll bowl those garbage balls and then he'll just out of nowhere get you that wicket. And when
That
I say
that
Yeah,
garbage
because
famous
he
balls,
meme,
gives
that
you
famous
runs.
famous meme of Thakur, that he allows the opposition to build a partnership before breaking it
yeah.
Yeah,
So
he gives you runs, and he
with the
he
bat.
also
With the
take
bat.
he's yeah, he's kind of dependable, honestly. Like as surprising as it seems, he's kind of like consistent. He gets
Yeah,
wickets and he also scores runs.
yeah. So I'm very surprised that he's not being picked. He's only 33,
Was there
and
an issue on his fitness?
I'm not
I think
sure.
I'm not sure because
I think he
he
played the last few games for Mumbai,
For
and he
Mumbai,
wasn't
Yeah,
yeah.
available
he's one of
in the
those few
league.
players who's consistently been playing domestic cricket. And there was this statement that he made last season saying that wish there were more gap. There was a
More
gap
gap
in the
between matches, yeah.
in between games. So I'm very disappointed that you didn't feel he is good enough to even be a part of the reserves. And you've taken someone like Nitish Kumar Reddy. He has just 3 games against Bangladesh and one IPL season to show. It's a lot of promise. I don't
I
see.
think that's a completely off-field choice. They're just banking on some like
No, I get the
hoping,
point.
not banking, hoping that they get it correct.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
my point is, when you have a player when you're picking a player in the squad, you're expecting him that he's good enough to be in the playing 11 if there's an
Hmm.
opportunity coming. Let's
Hmm.
say if one of the bowlers breaks down, or you lose an all-rounder for some reason, do I see Nitish Kumar Reddy as a person that I should hand over my the my test cap? I'm not convinced at this point of time with that selection, but maybe
yeah.
because back in the day you would had that India game, you check the guy whether he's ready, and then he's just 21, 22. I don't think he's played a Bumrah even in first class. No Siraj. I think Akashdeep might be the only player he may have based. I don't know how the seedings are, who Hyderabad and Andhra play, but I don't think he's played against quality domestic uh,
He hasn't played a lot of domestic cricket either, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
another
yes, I
thing.
think,
Like he
yeah,
doesn't have
he.
that big
yeah.
By the way,
seasons,
same is the case with Harshit Rana as well. If I'm not wrong, he's played only 9 or 10 first
Mm.
class matches. So that's again a
I'm surprised
selection.
Mayank Yadav. I can understand if Mayank Yadav was selected and you
Shardul's
had.
test career hit the roadblock after his abysmal performance with both the bat and ball in WTC 23 final, which is quite true. And also that South Africa first test,
Yeah.
he was shambolic with the ball. I mean, he was bowling it here and there, and he leaked a lot of runs.
I
See,
think the only
it's
reason
very.
Nitish Kumar Reddy is picked, sorry, Kevin, I'll just say this,
Yeah.
and the only reason he's been picked is
Hmm.
because we need, if we need, that is, like if the management and if the pitch allows, if the captain thinks, if we need a Shardul Thakur type player, because Shardul
Yeah.
Thakur was important for us in Australia, and we don't want to go into that series without having that option, where we can balance things, where we can still pick a spinner and we can still pick three fast bowlers and have this guy to do a bit of both. And if conditions allow, and if he's looking good in the nets and everything, I think he will play. I think he will play.
Yeah, but the interesting thing was Shardul Thakur was like I was surprised that you had Mukesh Kumar play over him. You dropped him after one game, and you played Mukesh
Yeah.
Kumar. But in his defense, I'll say this is a problem with these bowler friendly wickets. That if the batsmen don't get enough runs and you are under pressure to take wickets, you're bound to give runs. And on
Yeah.
bowling friendly wickets, you're bound to criticize bowlers more if they're not able to do well. But there are a lot of parameters that come into play. But yeah, coming back, I think maybe it's Siraj, Bumrah, and Akashdeep for sure. The fourth.
See, there's also another pacer as an option. They're suggesting my name. Unfortunately, my visa to Australia has not been approved, which is why I'm not in the squad, or else I was the first name on the list. Just putting it out
Yeah,
there.
and I mean, we're talking about balancing teams. I mean, I'm still a little bit iffy on your batting record, so I would still back Nitish Kumar Reddy,
I would
even
back Virat.
Harshit Rana.
You know, I don't want to be controversial over here, but I'll just the currently what I've seen in bowling, test match bowling and this limited overs bowling, I would take Virat Kohli's bowling over Nitish Kumar Reddy's bowling at this point of time.
Just a
Yeah,
quick
I
Maybe
mean
question:
Nitish Kumar
Who is
Reddy.
captaining?
Yeah,
Who is captaining for the third test in case
definitely
Rohit
Bumrah.
right.
Bumrah?
He's the vice captain.
Yeah,
They
there's
went
going to
out
be
of their
fresh.
way to make sure everyone knows that Jasprit Bumrah is the vice captain. Otherwise, normally we don't know, right? Like
No,
it's
who is the vice
who's the vice
captain?
captain. No one
No,
knows.
no,
This time
it's
they
going to be
made sure everyone
interesting.
knows.
It's going to be interesting. The second, he said he wants to be he considers himself as a world
Let's
captain.
get that topic out just before we probably end this stream. We are almost towards the end. Just like that topic, I'm assuming. I mean, what I don't know what your views are. I'm assuming at some point, either in this WTC cycle, once this ends after the BGT, We have an England series, so I'm not sure whether we will have a new captain for an overseas test series. But if that's the case, who is the captain after Rohit Sharma, the permanent test captain? Because I don't see him carrying on too much after this WTC cycle.
Yeah, I agree. Kevin, you go first.
See,
Kevin has strong thoughts on this.
the way Indian cricket is run, like it's all on stats. So if whoever has a good BJT between Rishabh Pant, Shubman Gill, and Jasprit Bumrah will be nominated as the captain.
No, the problem I have with Jasprit Bumrah is not about his captaincy or anything. He won't play all test matches, is what I feel. He's not going. I was
Yeah,
surprised he played
I
both the
agree.
tests against Bangladesh. I was quite surprised, but I don't see him playing two tests against Bangladesh, say next WTC cycle, or three tests against Sri Lanka, if that's what the schedule is. So I'm
And
not
he's
sure.
an all-format bowler, right? We
Correct,
need him for
correct,
other
correct.
other matches as well.
I
T20
think
World Cups and champion trophies, all of that.
I think the selectors will have a word with him and ask him, like, what he thinks, because uh, if he wants a captaincy, then you have to offer it to him.
And
He's the
I
best
want to
bet.
be. I'll just like just a quick thought. I don't think he will play all these five tests as well because it's almost impossible, is what I believe. I mean, the thought would be to make him play all five tests because now he has already played five. He's definitely going to play the one-KD test, is what.
I think
Controversial
Kohli.
opinion from Avinash. But I think Kohli and Sharma should retire if they don't perform well in the first two tests of BGT. Kevin.
This is the sad thing about Virat Kohli. He's 2 years younger. You should not always club him along with Rohit Sharma when it comes to retirement decisions. So I feel like with Rohit Sharma, I can understand. With Virat Kohli, I think he still has at least 1 2 years more.
And
Definitely.
Kohli should retire at his home ground, which is Oval in London. What do you
I was
think?
saying
Oh, I
Adelaide.
thought you were going to say
When
Bangalore.
is the Adelaide? When is the
No,
Adelaide test? Is it the fifth test
Adelaide is
match?
the second test. That's what Avinash is
Oh
suggesting.
no.
As soon as he plays the Adelaide test, he can announce his retirement. See, I
No,
think he
no.
should play
That won't
last
happen.
test at his home ground in Oval, London, 2025 August. That should
Yeah, that won't
I,
happen. He
I,
will.
I
He Virat Kohli will keep on playing.
yeah,
till
Virat
when?
Kohli.
He'll keep on playing. There is no reason. I mean, there is a reason, but he won't retire. He won't
Yeah,
retire.
I
Yeah,
was
I'm
just
sure
thinking.
he backs himself, right? I'm sure he thinks that he
Yeah,
can
yeah,
get better.
yeah.
Obviously.
See, the thing with Virat Kohli is you don't have any player on the bench who's ready to take his place now at this point of time. With
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Rahul Dravid, Vivesh Lakshman, you had guys. You had Pujara who was scoring a lot of runs. Ajinkya Rahane also scoring a lot of runs actually at that time. So so there were players who were doing well. In this case, everyone's doing well, but you're not sure whether they're really good enough, and that is because you don't have your premier players. Back in the day, you had Zair Khan who would play a bit of first class. You had Srisan playing first class. Now you don't have any of the players who are in the part of the white ball setup. You don't have them playing in domestic. So you're not sure the guys who are playing in domestic are really that good enough as the numbers state they are. You look. I just picked up the top run getters in the Ranji last few seasons, and everyone's averaging 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and
yeah.
it depends what
Yeah,
division you're
even Nikhil
playing.
was averaging 110 last year. He played only one game,
Yeah,
but he averaged 110.
I'm still waiting for the call up.
Yeah. So that is the case. I think what Virat Kohli. I always feel that he played very dirty with the BCCI very quit Test captaincy. Nobody thought that he would quit it at that time. And I don't think Rohit Sharma wanted the Test captaincy as much as he wanted the white ball captaincy. And because you didn't have any leader in place, you have Rohit Sharma now
What about
leading.
this? I recently learned that Kohli's last Ranji match was in 2012, whereas Tendulkar's last Ranji match was 2014.
It,
2013, sorry,
yeah,
2013.
Wow, surprising.
no, there's a difference in that. The only reason I think Tendulkar played in 2013 was because he was not getting runs from 2010 onwards, from 2011 onwards. So he just played. I think he played only the Irani Cup. I don't think he played anything in between. He didn't play the
Yeah,
weaker
he just played the
teams.
Irani Cup, yeah.
He just played the top match he played, and that also is just that one clip of Srisant hitting that boundary of him after he got hit on the shoulder. So it's like because there's no way you can get records, and the fans are hyping that he played, but Virat Kohli's defense, he absolutely had no time. He poor guy had to take a 3 day, not three, he skipped three ODIs just to get married in 20 was it 17 or 19?
2017,
2019.
2017, yeah, 2017.
Yeah, around that time, he had to take a 3 day off, and in the three test matches in Australia also was the first time he skipped. I don't think he's ever been injured as well. I
No,
don't think
yeah,
he
no.
missed
Yeah, he's never
one
injured.
test match. One test match, I think was in South
Dharamshala, the
Africa.
Dharamshala. No, no, the Dharamshala test as well. He missed. If you remember, Rahane
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
captain,
yeah. That
2017,
was
and
one
Oh,
then
test
right,
match.
right.
And in South Africa, unfortunately,
correct.
after winning the first test match, but besides that, I don't think he's been available only. If he was available, I have no doubt in my mind that this guy would have gone and grinded it out in this, because
I remember he had signed up for a county stint, and then he got
yes,
injured. He got
he
injured
got
before
injured.
the yeah.
Yeah, so he is one of the most hardworking cricketers. There's I like maybe Rohit Sharma. Maybe you'll be using the WTC failure to have him to push him out of the test team. That is unfortunate. You cannot drop him. Definitely at this point of time you would want to drop him, but you can't drop him because he has his issues against seam swing bowling. And in Australia also, you would want him to come good, but him as an opener with that against Stark and Hazelwood Cummins, I'm not sure if he can. Like we had concerns over him when he would play in England, and he did well in 2021. You would want him to do well in 2025 as well, but he's 2024 25 as well, but he's unfortunately unable for the first game. So let's see. But I think Virat Kohli definitely has 2 more years in Test cricket.
2 more years, so another final, 2027. Let's see. Yeah, just
Yeah,
before we wrap up, Nikhil, your answer to that question: who captains India after
captains.
Rohit Sharma leaves after the WTC cycle? I don't think we are playing the final WTC cycle. I'm suggesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I won't go give it to Bumrah because, as you said, there's so much cricket he has to play, and his injuries. You want to,
You said you wouldn't
you
give it
want,
to Bumrah, right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
give it
yeah.
to him.
Mhm.
Um, I think Shubman Gill is probably the
Yep.
right answer here. I
Yes,
think Shubman Gill is the
that's my
one.
answer as well. This is the BGT is his
Yeah,
opportunity. Score 300s in 5 tests. You get your name right
yeah.
up there. He will be the guy. He
It's
will.
time, right? Shubman Gill like goes in that like world
Correct.
class level. Like
Correct.
he's been here, he's been doing okay, but now
Yeah.
it's time for him to get in that Kohlis and
Yeah.
Smiths and all those levels.
No
Kevin
Rishabh
So
Pant.
Kevin
No Rishabh.
disagrees. Pant's
No, no.
probably
captaincy
not.
has been under question for a lot of time in the
Yeah, but
IPL.
we saw Shubman Gill in for GT as well,
Hmm.
and I
I
feel
don't know.
like
I just
Pant.
feel like I trust Gill more than I
Yeah,
trust
yeah,
Yeah,
Pant. For
yeah.
some reason, Pant he doesn't look like a captain, a captain
I
It's
material.
agree.
it's sad for.
I might be wrong, but I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think like Rahane, we lost KL Rahul as well. Everyone thought he would be the
Yeah.
next captain, and he was vice captain also. I think
Yeah,
with
Rahul's
Rohit Sharma.
cricket career is like it's a good like you can write a good paper on it.
I
Does
think
it
it's
work?
similar to Ajinkya Rahane as well. It's unfortunate, but he's gone the Ajinkya Rahane. Whenever you thought you could hand him more responsibility, he just he was a
I'm
good.
sure there's so many other things as well with KL Rahul's story, like all
Hmm.
the outside stuff as well, which might have
I like to
impacted
I
him
like to
and
call it the curse of
dressing room
17.
stuff.
I like to call
Yeah,
it the curse of 17. I think it was 17 crores. I think Virat Kohli also
yeah.
2018 took 17 crores. After that, COVID came and I don't know what happened to him. He came back to 15 and he's doing well. He got 700 runs in the IPL. Yeah, he got 100 in in T20s, which I never saw would be coming.
That
He's
was
doing.
his
Yeah,
100 after people
Yeah,
waited for so
against
long for his
Bangladesh.
70,
Yeah,
71st.
yeah. So
yeah.
similarly, yeah. So, but yeah, I think ideally I would prefer having Bumrah, and just with the with Bumrah being captain, expecting the green pitches or bouncy wickets in India. I don't think Bumrah would love to bowl on.
Yeah, that's
If
also
Bumrah
one thing,
decides
right?
to retire in one format, then sure, like give it to him, and then we can have like a transition period, between Rohit
Mm,
Correct.
Sharma and Gill, give it to
Yeah,
Bumrah for a
two
few
two
years.
years. Yeah, 2 years
yeah,
probably to
Yeah, I
Bumrah, and
think
then
that
yeah,
could also be
yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think we'll wrap this up. I know in the title we've written Pakistan win the home series, but I can tell you this right now: Pakistan win the home series. Very good. England spinners weren't at it, and the England batters failed, and Pakistan regrouped, and they changed the selection changed, and everything changed. A lot of interesting things happened. Actually, they played two test matches on the same pitch, which was amazing. They had big fans on the pitch to drive them. That was also amazing to see. And yeah, Sajid Khan and Nouman Ali, they took all the wickets. So well done. They finally produced wickets to get results as well. And yeah, it's good to see England getting humbled. That's always nice to see. So yeah, we'll wrap this podcast up. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys join again whenever we decide to pod. I think we're deciding it after the IPL retentions come back. So
Yes,
that's
2nd
going to be a
November,
big one.
hopefully, we will be live with the IPL retentions. IPL retentions will be out in a couple of days. 31st October is the deadline. I can give you quick updates if you want for some teams. Nikhil,
Yes,
which team do you want?
let's hear them. Let's
Which
hear
team
them.
do you want?
Give
I
us.
have all the inside news.
I think the most, I was actually thinking about this today. The most interesting retentions are probably KKR because there's so many players, right? Like
Yeah.
usually you'll see like the team that wins the IPL, they'll
Mhm.
always have the
Correct,
toughest
correct.
toughest
So,
decisions.
what inside news I've got from the KKR camp is see, I have a lot of
Yes,
sources.
Iyer is dropped.
Shreyas Iyer is probably not getting retained. They are not reaching a conclusion on the discussion because he wants 18 CR. He wants to be the first retention. KKR is not agreeing because they want Russell as the first retention. KKR is looking at these five players: Russell, Narain, Chakravarti, Rinku Singh, not in this particular order, but Russell, Narain, Chakravarti, Rinku Singh, and the two uncapped they are looking at are Ramandeep and Harshit Rana.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I've heard.
actually like that. I mean, Venkatesh Iyer is disappointing for him.
Yeah.
Nitish Rana as well. I mean, he's a good player,
They
but again, like,
they can't use the RTM then, but they might buy him back and
yeah.
try to get them. But yeah, that's what KKR. Just quickly, LSG update. They are definitely releasing KL Rahul. It's not inside news anymore.
Mm.
It's the news is out right there. KL Rahul will be released. Puran is
Puran
said to
is
be
being
their
captain.
first retention. He will be the captain as of now, unless they get a new captain in the auction. They are thinking of. Ravi Bishnoi and Mayank Yadav as the other retentions, and they are looking at Ayush Badoni and Mohsin Khan as the uncapped retentions. I'm surprised that they are not looking at
Osman is.
Marcus Stoinis or anybody else, Quinton de Kock as
Yeah,
well.
so Pat Cummins and Dan Vittori have that option to go for him.
Correct.
They
With
want to
SRH,
build
I
a team
think
full of
again it's
Australians.
right out there. Henrik Klassen 23 CR, not Travis said. Pat Cummins 18 CR and Abhishek Sharma 14 CR. They have signed the deal. They are waiting on negotiating with Travis Head and Nitish Kumar Reddy. That's SRH. CSK big news coming in is that MS Dhoni obviously uncapped. We have Ravindra Jadeja as the first retention 18 CR. Gaikwad second
Yeah,
retention
makes
14
sense.
CR and Matisha Patirana 11 CR has already signed the deal. They are thinking about Conway, Rachin, and Shivam Dubey. Who two out of those two RTM?
Hmm.
Who else
I
do you want to
mean,
know?
yeah. Mumbai. A
Mumbai,
lot of
obviously,
Mumbai
it's
fans.
right out there. All five have agreed. The
Okay.
Ambanis
Okay.
have managed to have conclusive conversations with all these
So
five.
they're probably paying them more, right? Than what
Definitely, definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
I don't think that's fair, by the way. For other
I
franchises.
ranted
I
about it
think
on
you
that
talked
group.
about it, yeah.
I
I
ranted it
agree with
about
you.
on the group, but yeah,
Yeah,
Rohit
I
Sharma,
agree with you.
Hardik Pandya, Jasprit Bumrah, Surya Kumar Yadav, and Tilak Verma. Those are the five retentions. For the uncapped, I've heard they're looking at Anshul Kamboj as the
Hmm.
RTM or retention, whatever they can do with them.
He's been playing in the domestic games, right?
Emerging
Merging,
tournament
yeah.
as well. Yeah. Who else? SRH done, KKR done, LSG done, CSK done, MI done.
Delhi
R
is Pant
Delhi.
staying?
Delhi, discussions are on. There is no conclusion because I will tell you what happened is GMR is running the franchisee this year. They don't want Pant as a captain. They want him as a player, but they don't
Hmm.
want him as a captain, and that's why the discussion is not getting a conclusion. Pant is not ready to not accept captaincy, which is causing an issue. So by 31st October, we might get a clear picture, but at this point, the discussions are still on. But we might
I
see him in
think
the
they
auction.
might be they might be better off keeping some money in the purse as well. I mean,
That's
who
also true.
else? Fraser McGurk can go for big money, like
Money, yeah.
really
Correct.
big money,
Yeah.
because yeah, he can go for big money, so they might look at him. But other than that, like I don't know who else they're looking at.
Yeah.
Tristan Stubbs and
Tristan Stubbs and Aksar and Kuldeep could be their
Aksar and
retention,
Kuldeep are
maybe.
there.
Yeah.
Yes, that they need to
So
stay.
yeah, that's DC for you. LSG done, KKR done. RR, three Indians: Sanju Samson, Jaiswal, and Parag. Butler has decided to move on. They might use the RTM for him,
Oh,
but I am pretty sure we might see him in the auction. Butler in the auction,
oh,
and Chehal in
oh.
the auction, Bolt in the auction. A lot of people. Sandeep Sharma can be their uncapped. GT as well is facing some issues because there are some discussions going on with Shubman Gill. Rashid Khan has asked for the first retention, just like he did in SRH, which is why they released him. So that is a question: Rashid Khan or Gill, or they just give same amounts to both the players. That's a discussion going on around there. I think we
I
covered all
mean,
10.
Butler in the auction is interesting, right?
Yeah, you can
He's
buy
go
him.
he, yeah, and probably not. We after all the retentions we get, and we already have how many? We already have three overseas, right?
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah,
I
yeah.
am looking
Butler.
at Hasaranga. Hasaranga
You
that we
bought him
have.
last year, and then he didn't come up.
Yeah,
You can't do it
I
this
was
year.
disappointed.
You can't do it
Yeah.
this year, or else
Because
you
you
will.
look at it, Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma, then
Mhm.
you have Nitish Kumar Reddy, you have
Correct.
Klassen, Pat Cummins, and you try to get Hasaranga back. You try to get Bhuvneshwar Kumar back. And
And
now
T
that's a
Natarajan.
good
I think
core.
Natarajan was the key last year. Left arm. He
T
was the key.
Natarajan as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
And that's a good core.
Yes, definitely. Am I done? I think we have covered all the teams. I'm sorry if I missed some team.
RCB.
RCB. So this is an interesting point. What they have done is they are in talks with KL Rahul, Pant, and Shreyas Iyer.
Hmm. I've heard this.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
any of these players, like KL Rahul is definitely coming in the auction, but they are mostly in talks with Pant. If Pant is coming in the auction, then they are retaining only two players, Virat Kohli and Yash Dayal. Nobody in between. They will use the RTM on others.
Siraj.
They will use RTM on Siraj, Patidar, whatever they think are worth. But they are saving money if Pant is coming in the auction. That's why they are
Oh, that
waiting.
would
But
be.
that's the discussion. And same with Punjab Kings. They wanted Arshdeep Singh, but they are like, we do not want to pay him 18 CR because we want to save money for Pant Iyer, whoever comes in the auction, because both of these players have worked with Ponting before. So Ponting would like to grab one of these players as the captain of Punjab Kings. And they are trying to negotiate with Shashank Singh and Ashutosh Sharma at 4 CR. Shashank Singh has not agreed at 4 CR, is what I heard. So
Well,
a lot
as
of things.
usual, Delhi and Punjab are coming in with the most money, I think, as usual.
That seems to be the case.
And
But
then
31st,
Butler, if Butler's in the auction, they will
it's
probably
gonna
go
be
to one
great
of them.
fun. It's gonna be great fun. Auction November end. Let's see what happens there as well. 31st October IPL retention. So a lot of content for the next 2 months, Nikhil. You please
Yeah,
free your time up so that we can have these podcasts regularly.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is getting
I'm there. I'm
this is
there now.
reaching right up there now. We have
Weekends,
IPL retentions, we have the BGT, we have IPL auction, we have the Champions Trophy. There's a lot coming up. A lot
lots
coming up.
of cricket. Champions Trophy we haven't even talked about.
Yeah,
There's so
because
much stuff
we
to
don't
talk.
know where it is. So I can't get my
Yeah.
visa approved. Where to go?
I
Is
mean,
it
I heard something crazy like they were saying that they'll keep the matches in Pakistan for India,
Yeah, and then you
and
can
then
travel
the
back to
flight,
Delhi. Yeah,
yeah. After every game,
everywhere.
you take a flight back. I mean that there are so many moving pieces in that. That
Yeah.
seems that doesn't seem realistic.
I mean, at the
I
end, the
think India
government is
will play
not
all
going
their
to agree.
matches in
Dubai or
Saudi,
Sri
in
Lanka. Yeah,
Dubai. Yeah,
yeah.
Dubai.
I
Yeah.
don't think the government is not going to agree to send the players to Pakistan, which is fair enough on their part. So that's it for today.
Okay.
Thank you very much. 4 people are still watching us. So whoever are watching us, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel,
Subscribe and
because
like.
like as well, and you will get a notification saying that we are live next time. Or if you want me to tell you that we are live, you can DM me asking when will you be live next time, and I will tell you the time and send you the link as well. But like, share, and subscribe. Keep on watching Cricket Adda. Thank you very much.